Hey everyone, welcome to the Pain and Gains podcast. This is your host Harrison Payne, and on today's episode, we're going to be discussing wearable fitness technologies, talking about what they do and which one is right for you. Thank you to everyone who's listening. We love and appreciate all the support that we get. Thanks for tuning in. On today's podcast, like I said, we'll be discussing wearable fitness devices, wearable fitness technologies, more specifically wrist-worn devices. You probably all heard of these, probably all seen these. These are devices like Apple Watches, Fitbits, Whoop straps, and all the others that you see around. So we'll be talking about their capabilities, helping you decide which wearable device is going to be the best fit for you. This is a fitness podcast. We'll be talking more about the features of these devices and how they can help you reach your health and fitness goals, not so much about convincing you on which one to buy. I promise you that this won't be a big infomercial. Just a little bit about myself. I'm your host, Harrison Payne. I'm a senior student at Georgia State University, majoring in exercise science. I have over 10 years health and fitness experience, exercise experience, with my main personal focus being on strength and hypertrophy training. I love to lift. My background is going to be in emergency medical services, where I worked as an advanced EMT, advanced emergency medical technician for a 911 service here in Atlanta, Georgia. During my time doing EMS, I witnessed firsthand the epidemic of preventable diseases and illnesses, things like obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, so how prevalent they are in our society, and kind of decided to switch careers and try to attack the issue from a more proactive approach, which has led me to exercise physiology. So enough about me, let's get back to our topic today, which is wearable fitness technologies. So like I said, you've all seen these: Fitbits, Apple Watches, Whoop straps, Garmin watches, all the others. New list comes out every day. If you don't already have one, you at least know someone who does or seen somebody wearing one. Today we're going to discuss their capabilities. Things such as tracking your heart rate, your blood oxygen saturation, heart rate variability, monitoring your sleep cycles, and GPS. All these functions of these varying devices can help individuals to maximize their training outcomes and easily track their progress, which is all what we all want, right? We want to train quickly, efficiently. We'll be discussing which training variables you should be looking for in these devices, and depending on what type of training you participate in or what your training goals are, which one of those variables is most important for you. So the first step in deciding which wearable device is best for you is to determine your primary exercise modality or your exercise goals. Ask yourself, are you a runner? Are you a cycler? Are you a weightlifter? Are you training for a bodybuilding show? Are you training for a marathon? Are you a novice CrossFitter who just wants to track your workout with your friends? Are you new to exercise, looking to lose weight, maybe start a healthy lifestyle? You need to ask yourself why you need or want this wearable device in the first place. These questions are crucial to enabling you to find the most appropriate device with the features that'll benefit you to optimize your individual training. For example, if you're a bodybuilder, then you might not want a device with a GPS tracker to view your running routes, but you probably want a device to track your HRV and sleep cycles to make sure you're getting the rest you need to maximize your rest and recovery, which are crucial things to promoting muscle protein synthesis and muscle hypertrophy. So once you determine your primary purpose for wearing the device, then you need to establish which specific variables or measurements will most benefit you in achieving your goals. If your main goal is to lose weight, then a calorie tracker is going to be essential to your success. Losing weight is all about being in a caloric deficit. This means that you're burning off more calories than you're consuming over any given amount of time. Dietary weight loss recommendations typically call for a caloric deficit of 500 to 1,000 calories a day in order to lose about 1 to 2 pounds of weight per week. But how are you supposed to keep track of all that? Lucky for you, basically all wearable devices these days are pretty good estimators of caloric energy expenditure. If you're new to monitoring caloric intake and expenditure, then a smartwatch with a caloric intake calculator app and a caloric expenditure tracker will help you to track your calories and to ensure that you're in a healthy range of caloric deficit. You don't want to starve yourself too much. You also want to be wary of your caloric intake. So the next thing you want to look at is your heart rate. Heart rate is another variable that's featured on basically all wearable devices. Heart rate is important to assessing your exercise intensity. You can utilize your resting heart rate and maximum heart rate to determine a heart rate goal for your workout. Heart rate max can be roughly estimated by using the equation 220 minus your age, and heart rate reserve can be roughly calculated by using 220 minus age minus resting heart rate. So 50 to 70% of your heart rate max indicates moderate exercise intensity. 70 to 85% of your heart rate max indicates vigorous intensity. If you're training for endurance, then you need to be aware of your heart rate at all times so you can properly pace yourself so you don't burn out in 1 mile because you've been pushing yourself at 85% of your max heart rate. And then you're all gassed out 1 mile into the race. So you got to be wary of your heart rate and the heart rate windows that you want to be in. Another example of why heart rate monitoring is important is if you're exercising to lose weight. The optimal training zone for fat burning is between 68 and 87% of your heart rate max. So say you're running, doing exercise, palpating your carotid or radial pulses. It can be difficult, even for trained people it can be difficult. So how are you supposed to know what your exercising heart rate is? Well, if you have a wearable device, it allows you to easily and conveniently, in real time, look down on your watch and monitor your heart rate. This allows you to stay in your target heart rate at all times during exercise and speed up, slow down accordingly. It's crucial to achieving your fitness goals in the most efficient manner. Another important training variable that can be used in basically all training modalities to monitor and detect overtraining or adequate rest is the thing we call heart rate variability, or HRV. So HRV measures the slight variations of time between heartbeats. HRV scores can be used to assess an individual's current fitness level or to assess if an individual is overtraining or training appropriately. Basically, it assesses your heart's ability to adapt to acute stress like exercise. An HRV of 0 to 50 milliseconds is unhealthy. 50 to 100 milliseconds is compromised health. And 100 plus milliseconds is considered a healthy HRV score. HRV also decreases as you age, so be mindful of that when assessing your score. Try to find an appropriate table for your age. So monitoring HRV levels with wearable fitness devices can be an effective tool in monitoring your fitness levels and preventing overtraining. So decreasing HRV levels, which you can track through your smart device, can indicate overtraining. So you're training too much, your HRV scores are going to decrease. And a high HRV score or high levels, increasing levels, then indicate that an individual is ready to train at optimal levels again. So tracking HRV trends is a tool that everyone can use to maximize training efficiency and prevent overtraining and injury. Lucky for you, HRV is now being found incorporated in most devices. I know it's on Apple Watches, Fitbits, and Whoop straps. So some special features that I definitely appreciate as a first responder is that these devices can also help detect dangerous medical emergencies such as atrial fibrillation or AFib and low blood oxygen saturation. So AFib is one of the most common heart rhythms seen today, abnormal heart rhythms, and greatly increases a person's chance of having a heart attack, stroke. To monitor AFib, some smartwatches have built-in electrocardiogram sensors that can detect heartbeats, irregular heartbeats. And the EKG sensor records electrical signals from the heart, can detect any abnormal heart rhythms. This information can be used to diagnose or monitor AFib in real time. So wearable fitness devices can provide continuous monitoring of your heart rate and O2 saturation levels, allowing you to track your progress over time. However, it is important to note that these wearable fitness devices are not medical devices and should not be used as a substitute for professional medical advice and treatment. Well, all those wearable fitness devices, Apple Watch, Fitbit, Whoop, as well as others, have made major technological strides over the years and continue to advance in capabilities every year. All can track the variables we have discussed so far, so how do we choose which one we want? Basically, it's going to come down to price and personal preference. I personally love the smartwatches because of the adaptability, and there's new apps coming out all the time. So I hope this podcast has helped you to better understand the features of your wearable devices and how to interpret them. And good luck to you on all your health and fitness journeys. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. Hope you come back, listen to our next podcast here at Pain and Gains, and I hope you all have an awesome day.